Oh, hi students. It's good to see you again. I hope you all had good weekends. This is Mr. Medina with the 9th grade ELA coronavirus announcements number 3 for Monday, March 23rd, 2020. So let's get started. Question guy, are you eating chips? Give me those. Eat chips in my classroom. Confiscate them. Anyway, what's your question guy? Mr. Medina, are there any new updates on coronavirus in school? That's a good question. Actually, I don't have any announcements right now. Mr. Church did promise to let us know if there's any changes or anything important, and I will communicate to you as soon as I find out any important information that you need to know. So stay tuned. No news right now, but if I do have news later, I'll let you know. What's your next question? Mr. Medina, my teachers are giving so much homework. I know, question guy. Lots of my students have been complaining about this. I've been reading about it in journals. My avid students are complaining about it. I know that there are some students or some teachers that are giving out a lot of work to do at home. And I know this is really difficult because you can't ask questions. You're learning how to use new technology, things like that. But I am working on it. I hear your complaints and I'm going to try to do something about it. So here's what I did today. I sent an email to Mr. Church letting him know that some teachers are giving out too much homework and taking off points if you don't complete it. He hasn't responded to me yet, but as soon as he does, I will let you know what he says about that. Hopefully he's going to tell the other teachers to kind of hold off on giving out too much homework. In the meantime, if you're concerned about classes, if you're stressed about your grades or anything like that, let me know, send me an email, remind message, or anything else, and I'll do my best to help you out. What's your next question? Mr. Medina, what about journal entries? Great question. So I was really impressed with the journal entries that I read this week. I want to give out shout outs to a couple of students who wrote some really awesome journal entries. First, Julio from period 6 wrote a really cool fictional story with showing not telling details about coronavirus. I hope he's continuing to write that because it's really good. I want to see what happens next in his story. Also, Diana from period 6, she wrote a true and scary story about shopping during coronavirus. I really enjoyed reading it, and I think she did a really great job on that. It was kind of scary. Joseph from period 3 wrote a lot of really thoughtful ideas about how this is affecting people, specifically how it's affecting students. I thought it was just a really thoughtful reflection that a lot of people could benefit from reading. Carla from period 4 wrote some good advice about staying calm and staying positive instead of being negative. I thought that was good advice that helped me personally. And Genesis from period 1 had a really great idea. She started using Google Slides to keep track of her journal. If you don't have a journal to write in or you don't want to use Google Docs, you can do the same thing as her and use Google Slides. I think that's a great idea. So I did leave messages in Google Classroom for all of you who turned in a journal entry. I know that some of you are maybe still confused about what to do for your journal entries, so I'm putting in some examples, some sample entries into Google Classroom that you can look at and turn something in this week. What's your next question? Do we continue journals this week, Mr. Medina? Yes, that's what I was just getting to. So yes, this week you should continue to write in your journal every day, 30 minutes a day, at least 1 page of writing. And I'm going to be posting, like I said, some sample journal entries in Google Classroom. If you're having trouble thinking of what to write about, you can see some of your classmates and what they've been writing about this week. Also, I'm going to post an article, a poem, or video every day this week in Google Classroom. So for your journal entries, if you can't think of something to write, you can write about the articles I post, the poems I post, the videos that I put in Google Classroom if you want, and you can submit one of those for your weekly entry by the end of the week on Saturday. If you want to start with today's article, I am posting it in Google Classroom. You can also click here in the slides to read the article. It's an interview about coronavirus with a scientist who helped defeat smallpox. I think it's pretty interesting, and a lot of you have been asking questions about coronavirus. I think this interview might be able to answer some of your questions. Wait, Mr. Medina, what's up with the weekly challenges? That's a great question. Let me tell you a little bit about that because I know some people were confused. So the weekly challenge is an optional journal writing challenge that you can choose to respond to each week. It counts as credit toward your journal entry submissions for the week. So if you choose to answer the weekly challenge, that can count as your weekly submission in Google Classroom. And a lot of people have already been turning those in. So if you already turned one in this week, that's the only thing you need to turn in this week. You don't need to turn in any other journal entries. So this week's challenge is what is giving you life right now. And if you haven't watched the announcements and the explanation video, please click here or go into Google Classroom and watch the video. Let me know if you have questions about this challenge. Remember, it's optional. You don't have to respond to this question if you want, but I thought it might be nice to share some of the things that are helping us stay positive throughout this time with each other. That way we can help each other all stay positive. Okay, one more question. Ms. Medina, when is our next Zoom meeting? That's a good question. So I read all of the information from your surveys that you took last week, and I'm going to have 2 Zoom meetings this week for my English 9 students based on the survey that we took. So the meeting days and times this week will be tomorrow, Tuesday at 11 in the morning, we will have a Zoom meeting, and on Thursday at 2 in the afternoon, we'll have a meeting. Just like before, I'm going to send out an email invitation about 15 minutes before our meeting starts. And so you can let me know if you can't make it to the meeting and if you have questions, send me your questions now so that I can answer them in the meeting and get back to you. You don't have to go to both meetings. You can go to just one if you want to, but I will post the video recording of our meetings later on this week as well if you want to watch them. Don't forget, I also have additional resources in today's slides. You can see all the information about the meals program and information about how to get internet for the next 60 days if you're struggling with internet right now. Again, please stay healthy. Make sure you're keeping 6 feet of distance between you and other people if you go outside. But remember, try not to go outside if you can. The more we stay inside, the less time we have to be here, and the sooner we can get back to life how it used to be. So again, send me any questions or concerns that you have. Stay positive, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.